Okay, this is chapter 14, video assignment number 1. In the question, it tells us that there have been 400 gallons of an 18 molar sulfuric acid added to Little Rock Lake in Wisconsin, and the end question asks us to calculate the volume in the lake given that information. In order to do that, we're going to use the pH method and manipulate the pH equations to get us to volume. So to start, we need to get the total moles of H plus that have been added to the lake through the 400 gallons of 18 molar sulfuric acid. To start that, we need to change gallons into liters to get us into our SI units. And 1 gallon is equal to 3.78541 liters. Doing that conversion factor yields 1,514.164 liters. Then we have our molarity of 18 molar solution sulfuric acid, and when you times volume by molarity, that leaves you in moles. Doing that calculation yields 27,254.952 moles of H plus. However, when looking at sulfuric acid, it is a diprotic acid, which means that for every 1 mole of sulfuric acid, it's going to donate 2 H plus ions. So we have to times that initial value by 2 in order to get the total moles that sulfuric acid has given to the lake. That gives us a value of 54,509.904 moles of H plus. Now that we have that, that's the first step in our process because we're going to use that later. We now need to calculate the difference in pHs and concentrations of H plus in the lake from before the sulfuric acid was added and after. So before the sulfuric acid was added, we can use pH equals the negative log of our H plus concentration. We rearrange that equation to get us 10 to the negative pH power equals our H plus concentration. Substituting in that value gives you 7.94 times 10 to the negative 7th. That was the initial H plus concentration in the lake before the sulfuric acid was added. We can do a very similar process for our H final, which is the final amount of H plus ions in the lake, and that gives you 2 times 10 to the negative 5th molarity of H plus ions in the lake. That makes sense that there is more because we've added sulfuric acid, which has added H plus ions. Now we can look at this equation here. We have a molarity of H plus ions and we have total moles. So we can do our molarity times volume equals moles as we did earlier, but just plug in the values we have and rearrange to solve for total volume. Rearranging the equation yields volume equals the total amount of moles that we calculated earlier over the molarity, and we're using the final molarity of H plus because we have to include the 400 gallons that have been added of sulfuric acid to get total volume. When you do that calculation, that leads you to 2.73 times 10 to the 9th liters of water or liters in Little Rock Lake.